Hey, good evening, everyone. Happy Monday night. I hope you guys are doing well. I am standing out here. It is gorgeous. I'm on the bridge I showed you the other day. Over the lake, there's a fountain behind me. I don't know if you can see it. You might be able to hear it. Standing out here, just enjoying the weather. The temperature is perfect now. Once again, in Florida, we got a little bit of a rain shower thunderstorm this afternoon that cooled everything down, and it's beautiful out here tonight. So I just love coming out here. I was gonna do my live from our room tonight, but our internet is so wonky, and I was afraid I was gonna lose my connection like I did last week when I kept trying to go live from the room. So I came back out here tonight. Hopefully you can hear me. Hopefully the noise around from the fountain and from the people still at the pool is not too loud. If you can't hear me, let me know, and I will either shift spaces or bring the camera closer. Or I don't want to talk too much louder because there are people sleeping not too far away. But I wanted to talk to you tonight about fear. And I've talked a lot about fear lately because fear is what is, a big controller of everything that we do. Hey, Irina. Good. I'm glad you can hear me. Fear is a big controller of what we do or what we are stopped from doing, right? Sometimes fear will stop us in our tracks. And I was talking about this last night a little bit about, how fear can be paralyzing for things, right? When we have a big task in front of us, how that can paralyze us. But it can paralyze us from a whole lot of other things. And I want to give this example. The last time we were here at Disney in April, I went live with my son after he had gone on a big roller coaster that he was terrified of. I'm in complete fear, right? He is not my daredevil at all. He's a big chicken. And it's okay, we love him for it, right? But my girls sort of tease him about it. And he's a big chicken. And we did a whole live that day from Animal Kingdom last time we were here in April about kicking fear in the face, right? Because he did Expedition Everest, and if anybody has been to Animal Kingdom, Expedition Everest has like this really steep straight up, and then it stops, and then it goes backwards, and it does a whole part of the thing backwards. And he was terrified of it, and the pictures from it were hysterical from that day because he was so scared, but he did it. And after he did it once, he wanted to go back on it again and again and again, and he was, right, and he totally kicked fear in the face. Right? Well, flash forward 3 months. We haven't been gone that long, right? We were just here in April. It's now July, April, May, June. So 3 months, 3.5 months, we're back. And you've never attempted it? Oh, Irina, you got to do it. It's fun. Even Elliot loves it now. That's his favorite. Don't be scared. He loves it. But we came back, right? And again, when we were here last April, he kicked fear in the face for Expedition Everest, for Thunder Mountain Railroad, for Splash Mountain, for Space Mountain, right? And he would grumble and groan before we would go on each one of these, terrified, and didn't want to go on them. And when we were here in April, he just got dragged along because there were only 4 of us. There was only one adult. He didn't have a choice because I wasn't sitting back, right? And Irina, you sent Boris with the kids. So there's some that I would do that on, but none of these I can handle. There's one at Universal that Emma dragged me on when I took her there last year that, whoa, the video of it is hysterical because I was terrified. And she still teases me about it. But again, that was kicking fear in the face. But we came here this time, and again, the first couple of days we were dragging him back on some of these things, but now he's like leading the pack to get on these things. And I'm going to have to put together a progression of the pictures, right? Because I take pictures. No, not the green one. There's a red one that seriously goes straight up like that at Universal. The green one Emma wasn't tall enough for, so we didn't get to go on that one. We are doing Aerosmith tomorrow, which is upside down, and he's freaking out over it, but we've told him he doesn't have a choice. So maybe we'll come live tomorrow after he kicks fear in the face on that one, if I can get him to come live with me. But right, I want to take the progression because, right, most of these rides take pictures along the way, and it's so cool to see. Like in the first ones, he's got this terrified look, and he's like grasping on for dear life, right? And now we have some of them where his hands are actually up in the air, and he's actually smiling because he's gotten past it, right? He's done it enough times now that it's not so scary. I think he's still scared when he goes on, but he loves it, and he's enjoying it. Now we've got 2 adults here. If he really put his foot down and said he didn't want to go on, it would be easy. Somebody would stay back. This isn't a big deal. But he's now loving it. And it's such a huge lesson for all of us to learn, right? To learn from my son is that, right, things can be really scary, but as, my daughter keeps saying to him, we're at Disney. Disney's not going to let you do anything that's not safe, right? you know, they're going to keep us safe. And especially like on these roller coasters, there's not even the over-the-head harness, which he's going to probably freak out a little bit when he gets onto Aerosmith and they've got the over-the-head harness, but that'll be a different story for tomorrow, right? But like, you know, my girls keep saying to him, this is not that scary, right? Disney wouldn't let anything bad happen to you, hopefully, you know. So he's like, yeah, you never know, Irina, but shh, we don't want to tell an 8-year-old that, right? We don't want to, that's a good thing. But the thing is, he's pushed through it, and what was really scary, what was really, really scary to him in the beginning, right, is now not scary. It's actually fun. He's actually anticipating it. And there's a huge lesson to be learned in that, right? Because there are so many things in our lives where fear takes over, and we will face, you know, it's face everything and run, right? We run because we're so scared of it and we don't want to do it and we don't want to do it. But if we just do it, if we just let somebody drag us on and do it, right? The same way my son didn't really have a choice about being dragged onto some of these rides, right? You might actually get something good out of it. You might actually find something fun, right? And that's such an important lesson to learn. That's such an important thing to remember when we're facing something that's scary. What do I do when I face something that's scary? First of all, I analyze it, right? I try to take a step back and say, okay, what is the worst thing that can happen if I do this, right? Is my life in danger? First of all, right? Some of these roller coasters, maybe he believes his life is in danger, and I can get that. Is my life in danger? First thing, no, probably not. You're afraid of heights and snakes. I will tell you, Irina, snakes is different, but there are only, and sharks, I'm afraid of sharks too. There's only 2 things in life that we are born, fears that we are born with. We are born with the fear of falling, and we are born with the fear of loud noises. Every other fear that we have in our life is something that has been learned, right? Something that is in our head, right? So the fear of falling on these roller coasters, I could get that, I could understand that, but that is a real thing, right? But those are the only 2 fears. So any other fears that come about are things because of something that might have happened in our life, or things that we've perceived in our minds, right? So if that's the case, oh, sorry, the lighting spirit, I was just getting out of the way. People were coming across the bridge, and I was getting some funny looks because I'm sitting here talking at a phone. And so, you know, you're alligators. I get that too. Actually, my girls are afraid of alligators because they heard the Disney alligator story from a few years ago. But all the fears in our lives, though, come from things that are our surroundings, come from things that are perceived in our heads, right? So if that's the case, if that's where our fear comes from things that are in our head, then we can get those things out of our heads, right? We can take a step back and we can look at things logically, and we can not let those fears control us, right? Because like I said, there's only 2 fears that we're born with: fear of falling and fear of loud noises, right? Everything else comes from life experience. So if that's the case, whatever it is that you're afraid of, when I'm really afraid of something, when I'm really afraid of doing something, when fear is paralyzing me, which it can commonly, I like to take a step back, right? And start to analyze it. Like I said before, first, is my life in danger if I do this? Probably not, right? Second, I ask myself, what is really so scary about it? What's the worst thing that could happen if I do whatever it is that I'm afraid of, right? And I analyze that. And then next, I make a plan of attack. Because when I make a plan of attack and come up with a thought process and a plan as to how I'm going to handle the situation, it doesn't feel nearly as scary, right? And then I do it in small, bite-sized chunks. And then that fear is manageable. But sometimes we have to take that fear, just like what we did with my son, right? And just say, come on, it's time to go. Let's go. And just do it, right? Just don't sit and dwell on it, because sometimes when we dwell on it like that, sometimes when we break it down too far, we build it up even more and worse in our heads, right? And so then when we do that, it just makes it worse, and we just keep building and building and building and building and building until we talk ourselves out of it. Because, right, we can talk ourselves in or out of anything. So that's really what you have to look at when you're looking at something that you're afraid of, right? What's going to be your best plan of attack? Are you going to are you going to analyze it and pull it apart? Is that going to make it easier? Or is it just one of those things that you got to do cold turkey and somebody's got to grab you by the hand and pull you onto that roller coaster, right? those are the questions for you. Irina, if you're going to be down here with us, then, you know, before convention, you'll come to Disney with us, and I'll take you on all the roller coasters. You were scared to give your first shot to your client as a student nurse. I can relate to that, actually, Irina. My daughter, my eldest, so those of you who know, who follow, she has a very rare blood disorder. When she was first diagnosed, I had to give her shots every day, twice a day, in her legs. And no, you're not. You won't come with us. I had to give her shots every day, twice a day, in her legs. And actually, the truth is, I had to do that to myself when I was pregnant for a condition that I have. But I remember exactly how it was, how terrifying that was to give her those shots in her legs. Right? And I had to do it for months. And the first time and the second time and the third time, it was really, really, really scary, because who wants to hurt their child, right? And that hurts. We know it's going to hurt. You know, we know that those shots are going to hurt. But the truth is, I knew, not on roller coasters, I knew that doing that was what she needed to save her life, right? So even though it was scary for me, I mean, trust your own kids is awful. It was really awful. But I knew it was what I needed to do to take care of her. I knew it's what I needed to do to literally save her life, right? I had to give her shots twice a day. And thankfully, she doesn't remember it. You know, she was only 2 at the time. And actually, after the first couple of days, she just sat there and she took it like a champ, and it didn't really bother her, because I mastered how to do it. Hey, Gail. But it's so scary. Those things are so scary, and there are so many things that in our lives that cause fear and just can paralyze us, right? And so we just have to, you know, I guess my lesson in this is really, when something is scaring you, when something is fear, you know, bringing fear, you got to look at it and say, okay, is this something that I need to ease myself into, or is this something that I just need to go and jump off, or ask somebody else for help to pull me along, right? Because sometimes we need that. Just like my son needed me to pull him onto those roller coasters that he now loves. I can guarantee to you, you know, he's now the leader of the pack. Today, when we got to Animal Kingdom and we said, where do you want to go first? His first thing was, let's go to Expedition Everest. That was the first thing out of his mouth, right? He wanted to make sure we got on that ride today. So, you know, and that's such a change from 3 months ago, where he was terrified of it. But he did it, and he faced that fear, and he had a lot of fun with it, right? So if there's fears that are holding you back in your life, my challenge to you tonight is really, let's face them. Let's face them together, right? Let's take them on and say, where are we going to go? How are we going to, you know, how am I going to get past this, right? Is this a rational fear? Hey, Michael, is this a rational fear? Or is this something that is preventing me from reaching the goals and reaching the things that I want in my life? Because if it is, chuck them. It's not worth it, right? They're not worth it. They can't control us. He has an amazing, brave mom and dad. Maybe, sometimes. But thank you, Irina. You know, let's chuck them. Let's get rid of those things. There's not room for those in our lives, right? Those things that hold us back from all the amazing things that we can have in our lives. So I hope you are having a wonderful night. I am going to head. It has been a long week plus, right? We've been down here for over a week now. We have 2 more days at the parks, and we fly home Wednesday night. And I've been having an awesome time. And I can't wait, because I will be back here again in 2 weeks, back at Disney for 2 more days, with just Micha and I before convention. You know, so I'm a little addicted, if you can't tell, just a little. But I am ready to get home and get a good night's sleep, because it's hot and it's tiring, and we've been running full days. And tomorrow morning we have an awesome surprise for our kids. We are so excited. A fun event in the Magic Kingdom with them, that will be something different, and hopefully they're going to have a blast. I know I'm going to have a blast, because I've been having a blast. Irina, are you coming early enough to go to Magic Kingdom before convention? I would love it if you came with us, because we will be there Tuesday and Wednesday before convention. So yeah, have a great night, and I will see you guys back here tomorrow night, probably outside. You want to show you what I'm looking at? Tell you what, there's the bridge I was standing on before, and you can see there's a fountain over there. Oh, and they've turned off the fountain. There was a fountain over there, but it's a gorgeous view out here. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous view. Irina, you want me to tell you what their surprise is for the kids? Nope. I'm not telling anybody. I will tell you when I post it on Facebook after we do it, because my kids don't know. It's going to be fun. And we will report back with a report of how it goes, because I think it's going to be awesome. I think it's going to be super fun. And hopefully my kids are really going to love it. So have a great night, and I will see you guys back here tomorrow. Bye.